Hi there crew members, Starfleet personnel. In the last video I gave a detailed tour around this 1/100 scale dorsal section of the original USS Enterprise. Now, just check this out. As I pull out, what we see behind is the 1/25th scale version of that dorsal section. So in the front we see the 1/100th scale, and behind the 1/25th scale. I'm so happy, excited to show this, because it's really beginning to show the scale of this model and also the scale of the project. On top there, that is Impulse Engineering. Okay, I'm just going to give you a tour of this 1/25th scale version, and there are some changes in this 1/25th scale version that are not in the 1/100 scale, and I'm really going to enjoy talking you through that and also see what your thoughts are. Just look at the size of this. When I come around here and I come further out, the true scale of this really comes into focus when we see the door behind of the room that I'm building this in. Now let's go and check out that Impulse Engineering. This is so amazing. So we're coming right up onto deck 8 of the dorsal, and there is a long corridor, the long corridor of deck 8, and right at the bottom of that corridor is the turbo lift leading down through all the levels of the dorsal. Let's just have a quick look. So we're walking down the corridor here, and there's the main turbo lift that will take us all the way down through the dorsal into the secondary hull. Okay, but now just have a look at this. So we're going up to deck 7 now, and there we have Impulse Engineering. So if you've watched my previous videos, you will see the build on this. I did a full video on this. This is actually a test model, but it's a very finished test model that I just pulled out of retirement to place on the top of this 1/25th scale dorsal section. So I'm really enjoying seeing how all these different separate elements are actually really coming together into the Enterprise. Let's just take a quick look in there. All right, there's the familiar ladders leading up to that kind of platform, and then behind here, this is all kind of temporary. I've just put some, I'll show you behind. I've just put some cardboard pieces behind with a little bit of lighting, just to give you the idea, but I'll be building that. I'm going to be building the impulse engines behind here. Up here we come up onto that familiar room opposite the ladders, looking through that awesome red mesh down onto Impulse Engineering. Let's go back down into the dorsal, because I really want to share a few of my thoughts with you on this. The great thing about this here is I've basically knocked this up in like 2 days, and the reason it went up so fast is because I had the 1/100 scale to work from. So basically all the templates were there and all the information was there. I just scaled it up. It went very fast, and that is one of the elements of this final build, and it's why this highly finished 1/100 scale version is so important, because when it comes to the final build, it's just literally going to be a translation of this 1/100 scale ship. So I'm building the entire ship in 1/100 scale, and then it will literally be an upscale, a translation of that, which I found super easy and really awesome to build. It's just amazing. Let me show you a few changes in this 1/25th scale that are not in the 1/100 scale. Down here, so right at the bottom is deck 14 of the dorsal section, and I've got a few models again that I pulled out of retirement. So this is the model that should be in main engineering, but I just placed it down here because I want to share something really cool. This is really cool. So in the dorsal, what about if we had like multi-level? So, you know, okay, we've got the deck 14, deck 13, deck 12 and such. And there's my spirit level, and you can see that that bubble is right in the middle. So these decks are absolutely level. What about though is if we have some like mega rooms in this dorsal section, like two decks high. So if we place this crew member here and come down, look at that, that's going to be an awesome kind of, I mean, what would this be to do? It's something to do with engineering in the dorsal section, maybe something to do with the secondary hull strongback, which is one deck below on deck 15. And there we have the similar style ladders, which at the moment lead up to a blank wall. But my idea is that, you know, we've got this big room with overhead gantries here where crew members from, I think we're on deck 13 now, can walk across here, and we see down onto deck 14, walk across here and continue along the dorsal there. But yeah, so like I say, this leads up to a blank wall. I'm going to continue working on this dorsal because I'm really enjoying it. And this will be cut out, so there will be a big space cut out here. And these ladders will lead to something else on another level here. Up on deck 10, how about that we have an awesome briefing room, conference facility. Big conference facility. Screen in the background there. I'll just take the camera in. I mean, the dorsal section is not wide. It's super thin. But when you see it in this context, I mean, you know, it's just like being in an aircraft. Maybe a little bit wider than an aircraft. So, even though it's super thin, still valid, I think, as part of the Starship. Quite a few comments from the previous video to this, where I showed the 1/100 scale dorsal. Quite a few comments come in saying, oh, you know, wouldn't want to be in there during a battle, or, pooh, don't want to be in there when a photon torpedo hits the side. But hey, come on. You don't want to be anywhere on the ship when if and when a photon torpedo hits. So it makes no difference. And the vibe is that we've got really powerful shields on this ship. So whether you're on the outer edge of the saucer section or right in the middle of the secondary hull, it makes no difference. If there's no shields and a photon torpedo hits, boom, probably go right through in one end and out the other. But we do have powerful shields, so no big deal. Look at that. I mean, if I just pull out, it's just, you know, when you get up on this scale, you can really begin to get a feel for the size of the Enterprise. And don't forget, I mean, wow, from that engineering there, we have the entire saucer section, 17-foot diameter saucer section spreading out. So I just placed the extra part of the model of Impulse Engineering on the front. So now we're just going to go in again, and there's that familiar entrance again with that extra part on the front, which again, if you check out previous videos, I've built areas of this main engineering that we never actually saw in the show. This part here will be the doorway with the red sliding doors, and then either side of this will be the circular corridor running around the outer edge of deck 7. Okay, so there we go, that's super familiar. There's that beautiful red mesh again, and those powerful impulse engines, which, as I said just a little bit earlier, I'll be kind of building those properly. So here we go down some steps, and we actually have a working door. Looking down onto impulse engineering. That, to me, that is just absolutely beautiful. The model is rocking a little bit, we'll just put that down to space turbulence. But I can assure you that even though this looks precariously positioned, and I'm sure more than a few of you are thinking, I hope that is really well balanced. Well, it is. Before filming started, I've sealed it absolutely down onto the table here, and also this the main engineering model is well secured on. And you know, I'm not joking, I'm not kidding, I'm on the Enterprise. When I'm building this, when I'm actually building this, you know, late at night when I'm working on it, I'm actually on the Enterprise. I mean, look at this, we're down on deck 14 of the dorsal section. We've never seen this before. We've never seen any of this before. Looking all the way up, the turbo lift shaft going all the way up onto deck 8. If you want to know my thoughts around how the turbo lift is travelling down through the dorsal, do check out the previous video to this. I'm going to leave a link in the description so you can check out that previous video. Okay, and hey, listen, I've got to show, just to bring a close to this video, I've got to show you this, and I'm quite serious about it. There's quite a bit of discussion about emergency exits from the dorsal, either into the saucer or down into the secondary hull if something happens, crew members needing to get out quickly. Okay, you know that scene in the opening scene of UFO, the old TV series UFO? It's got that awesome music when it just starts like dun 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 dun. You know that music? It just really winds you up, doesn't it? And you see at one part of that opening title scene, you see, you know, the guys in the interceptors that go out to intercept the UFOs. You see them jump into these like slides or something. It looks really cool. And what about this? My idea is, what about if there is like a chute, an emergency escape chute going from every level in the dorsal down into the secondary hull. Now, of course, you could say, well, hey, that's not so good if it's actually the secondary hull that's got a problem. You're going to need to get up into the saucer section. So be it. But, you know, if for whatever reason you need to get down out of that dorsal, maybe it's an issue in the dorsal itself. But check this out. I mean, it's kind of just for fun, but I think it's epic. I'm just going to set the camera up so you can see this. Okay, so there's our crewman. He's up on deck 8. Needs to get down into the secondary hull literally within seconds. He's got like 4 seconds before some kind of major explosion happens. What about if down if down here there is like an absolute emergency escape chute, which, okay, are you ready? Let's go. There we go. He's down into the secondary hull within 1.5 seconds. Let's just have a look at that again in slow motion. I mean, not only would that be a super effective way of getting out of the dorsal rapid it would probably also be a lot of fun. A lot of you are going to say, yeah, but hang on a minute, in the Franz Josef plans and on the FASA plans and all the other plans, it says that this spine of the dorsal section is a pipe wiring trunk, and it still could be. So the pipe wiring trunk could just be on the other side, travelling up here. And this could be like just an epic escape chute, which I think even without an emergency, every crew member would be wanting to do that. So, hey man, you take the turbo lift or the maintenance lifts and I'm going down the chute. Just need a bit of fun around here. Okay, so I think that's it for this video. Just give you one more wide shot and then I'm going to get to work on filming this, because next Sunday I'm going to be showing you the finished version of this 1/25th scale dorsal section, and I am still focused on the 1/100 scale. I just needed to build this 1/25th scale just to show you how immense this the size of this is, because there through the 1/25th scale you can see the 1/100 scale with all its details inside. Lounge areas, there's Kirk, maybe Scotty or a maintenance guy walking along deck 8 to the turbo elevator. Okay, let me know what you think in the comments section. If this is your first visit to this channel, come on, push that subscribe button, give it a like, and let's get this ship up to warp speed. As always, I hope the video finds you well, and I'll see you soon with the next video. Bye for now.